Vlogtober. Today we're going to be reading a story from this book, Seven Strange and Ghostly Tales. Depending on how long the story is, we might have to do 2 parts to this. There's 7 stories in here. I got this discarded from the library. This is by Brian Juckies. I think that's how you say that. The stories in here are The Fate of Thomas P. Kane, Jamie and the Vampires, Allie Alma, The Lives of Henry Maudsley, Bridgie, The Sad History of Gilly Bodkin, RSB Limited. Now, don't mind my hair. I just woke up, but I want to get this done because we're supposed to... I was going to try and do this while door dashing, but for anybody who has motion sickness, you know that's a very bad idea. And since I got pregnant, my motion sickness has been worse. So, number 1. This is a cautionary tale, young folk, and must not be treated as a joke. Let us then draw up a treaty against all those who like graffiti. Each pencil mark, each can of spray, so difficult to wipe away. Each vandal going through a phase that some poor cleaner must erase. I beg you shun the felt-tip pen, for when a waltz defaced, what then? Do you seriously think society says, how wonderful, how marvelous, Joey rules, okay? Why must the scribblers leave their marks for all to see, thinking perhaps to gain themselves fame eternally? Put aside the markers, start a clean new slate, and keep it clean, or you may share the following scribbler's fate. The story is The Fate of Thomas P. Kane. It was a quiet gray Tuesday toward the end of the Christmas holiday. Turkeys had been devoured, gifts exchanged, and the festive season had tailed away into mundane January. Parents swept the last of the Christmas tree pine needles out of the carpet, while vowing to start dieting. As for the children, they were complaining about the batteries in their new toys had run out. Everybody was disgruntled, disillusioned, and disappointed with the whole process of Yuletide. The fun, laughter, and fairy lights would not return for nearly a whole long year. None of this ever bothered Mr. Bosin, going about the same daily ritual, the ritual he performed in his timeless world of Middlechester Museum, unlocking the great doors, checking the central heating gauges, switching the automatic alarm system back and forth to test it, and tidying the rows of brightly colored pamphlets and folders on the information desk. Christmases came and went. They were none of his business. The museum was his world. He lived in the apartment alone and self-contained on the 2nd floor, trusted completely by the administrators and curators. Mr. Boussin was totally devoted to his job as a caretaker attendant of the Middlechester Museum. His dark, muddy eyes smoldered with anger as he took solvent and nylon pan scrubber to the graffiti message sprayed on an Italian marble portal column. Phantom Snake rules. He had missed that one. His anger was directed not at the writer, but at himself for the oversight. Mr. Boussin smiled a dark, secret smile and scrubbed to erase the black auto enamel. Some sixth sense told him that soon, maybe even today, on this lackluster humdrum Tuesday, he would finally meet his arch enemy. The Phantom Snake was always the same name. It had begun about 2 years back. The name began appearing all over his beloved museum, sometimes in felt tip, other times in thick blue luggage marker, more often than in hard to remove air drying car spray paint. Phantom Snake. Scrawled on glass exhibit cases, pamphlets, and exit signs, written on marble statues, dubbed on floors, walls, doors, and stairways. One time it had actually been found in the left-hand corner of a priceless Renaissance screen. The head curator was furious. Experts were called in at great cost to remove the offending signature and restore the ancient work to its former beauty. Mr. Busain had been reprimanded by the administrator for letting such a thing happen. That day he had sworn on oath to his secret and dark gods. One day he would put an end to the Phantom Snake forever. Yet the graffiti continued to appear, Busain keeping one step ahead of the angry administrators by erasing it quickly wherever he found it. And now, with the museum's Egyptian exhibit opening, Mr. Busain feared greatly lest the holy relics of the high far gone age would be a target for the depredations of the Phantom Snake. Not if he had anything to do with it. To be guardian over the priceless artifacts of ancient Egypt was a sacred trust. When he had removed the graffiti, Mr. Busain roamed through the Egyptian exhibition, finally checking each display, papyrus scroll, reed model, boat, vase, and urns, sacred scarabs, and decorated amulets. Treading softly, he followed the wall of bas-relief hieroglyphics around to the sarcophagus of the boy king Ahamerkin. Without the protection of glass case, the figure lay in solitary splendor, its open casket decorated in now faded colors. The whole tableau represented an inner sanctum of some pyramid tomb in the Valley of the Kings, with models of the old gods standing on the sandy floor. Set, Anubis, Horus, and Osiris guarded the resting place. Mr. Busain took it all in slowly, finally easing silently out to resume his duties, and to watch and wait for the Phantom Snake. Thomas P. Kane noisily sucked the last of his milkshake through the straw as he sat watching the citizens of Middlechester going about their daily business. Men, housewives, bus drivers, and road sweepers. A fair cross-section of the community carrying out their allotted chores, blissfully unaware they are being watched by the Phantom Snake. He chuckled inwardly. Thomas P. Kane, Phantom Snake. He was writing his own name, rearranged into an anagram for them all to see, yet they would not solve it. Sheer brilliance on his part. He had known other graffiti writers, idiots, two of them from the same grade as he... He had known two other graffiti writers, idiots, two of them from the same grade as he at school, who had gone about spraying their name all over town. It amazed him how they could reach the ripe old age of 13 and still remain such fools. They had been caught easily, and now they were feeling the wrath of parents, teachers, social workers, and even the police. but nobody knew who the Phantom Snake was. None of them were clever enough to realize that it was an anagram for his own name. Thomas secretly wrote his signature on the plastic counter in ballpoint before climbing down from the tall stool to venture out into the drab, chilly Tuesday afternoon. He wandered about the town center, marking each of his triumphs. His signature was on the bronze buttocks of a water nymph in the district fountain. There's another one right across the center of a cough syrup advertisement, complete with a snaky mustache on the little girl whose mother was administering the soothing dose. Then there was the one that adorned the town hall steps, a letter upon each stair. They had removed it twice, but he had resprayed it each time. Nobody could catch the Phantom Snake. Thomas had thought of cryptically changing his logo to the drawing of a snake with the letter P at its head and an S at its tail. He rejected the idea. It would be lost to the solid, unimaginative adults of Middlechester. Quietly, unobtrusively, he was sidling toward a large limousine parked outside the King's Head Hotel. It was white. Pure white. Thomas looked like an enthusiastic schoolboy admiring the new Rolls Royce. He peered in the tinted windows at the walnut dashboard and the Morocco upholstery before siding around to the far side of the hood. Nobody was watching. He leaned over as if inspecting the Flying Lady symbol on the top of the radiator grill. Popping off the top of his broad red luggage marker, he executed a swift Phantom Snake signature on the gleaming white bodywork. The deed was done. He slipped quietly away and sat on a bench outside the library, from where he could review the results of his handiwork. A man emerged from the hotel, and without noticing the signature, got straight into the rolls and drove off. Thomas laughed inwardly. Short-sighted idiot. He soon realized that the Phantom Snake had struck again. The library bench was no fun. His signature had long ago been carved deeply into its woodwork with a sharp craft knife. Thomas strolled about, feeling slightly ill at ease. It was getting all too easy. He had covered the most prominent and important sites in town. Riding up the escalator in the shopping mall, he listened to the conversation of two women in front of him. "Look at this, Lil. Phantom Snake. Done in white all the way around the banister rail. It's disgraceful if you ask me." Right? You'd wonder what his parents are thinking about. I'd Phantom Snake him. I'd tan his hide if he were one of mine. Me too. Mark it and destroy it, the young hooligan. It was never like that in our day. We were all well behaved. Of course, it was different then. Thomas followed them, licking one of his ready-made stickers. As soon as the chance presented itself, he bumped cleverly into the back of one and called Will. "Oops, sorry, excuse me. Whoops. Hold on, guys. Sorry for the interruption. Cat attack." He hustled awkwardly around each other, Lil smiling indulgently at the polite young man as he extricated himself and walked off. Lil and her friends carried on, still gossiping, unaware that one of them had a Phantom Snake sticker prominently displayed on her back. Thomas turned to watch them, shaking his head knowingly. It was indeed all becoming too easy. The number of signatures dotted about the walls was clear evidence of this. Thomas was halfway through completing a large and elaborate signature on a January sale sign posted on a boutique window when the assistant's hand descended upon his shoulder. "Gotcha, young fellow." Instinctively, he relaxed and fell on the floor before the woman's hand could find a firm grip. Wriggling free, he scrambled away into the crowd of shoppers. The woman running behind him shouted, "You'll clean that off! Come back here!" She was yelling and pointing at Thomas. A security man ran toward him from another direction. People were turning to stare at him. With his heart pounding wildly, Thomas dashed onto the escalator. It was coming up, not going down. Disregarding the astonished folk on the moving staircase, he battled his way down, leaping clumsily against the rising stairs. The security man pulled out a two-way intercom. Pushing a button, he began speaking instructions to his colleagues. Thomas made it to the ground floor level, where he stumbled and fell. Adults stood open-mouthed as he sprang to his feet, twisting and weaving among the bargain hunters through the brightly lit welter of arcade and shops. He took a right, then a quick left, and another right turn, suddenly diving into a self-service cafeteria. Immediately slowing his breakneck pace, he casually picked up a tray and joined the line of customers, regulating his breathing so that it sounded normal. Though his chest still heaved and his hands trembled, choosing a cream donut and a glass of orange juice, Thomas seated himself at a table with a family group. All the tables were fairly crowded, so he went unnoticed. Licking cream from his fingers, Thomas watched the security guard outside the window. He was joined by another one. They looked this way and that, conversed with each other, pressed more buttons on their intercoms, then went off in opposite directions. The moment of danger had passed. Thomas relaxed, finishing his orange juice, and got up and carried 2 grocery bags for a young mother who was encumbered by an infant in a stroller. Together they walked out to the car park, and he helped her to fold up the stroller, stowing it with the groceries on the back seat of her car, a small hatchback. Thomas walked off in complete safety. He thanked her. Oh. Sorry, hold on, guys. Having issues. Second. Thomas walked off in complete safety, her thank you ringing in his ears. Nobody could catch the phantom snake. The strange excitement began tingling through Thomas. Instead of discouraging him, his narrow escape had the opposite effect. He felt reckless and daring, ready for more adventure. But where and how? A nearby billboard with posters of local events provided the answer. Middlechester Museum Egyptian Exhibition, 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday through January. Admission free. Of course! Thomas hurried to meet the new challenge. Many times he had dashed off his logo only, seconds ahead of his favorite adversary, the watchful old attendant. From the edge of the lawn in front of the museum, Thomas watched a group being shepherded inside by a gray-haired, swarthy complexioned bosun. Then he began his own preparations. Like a bullfighter before the cordia, Thomas went through the ritual of readying himself. Giving his spray can a good shake, he stowed it in the inside pocket of his baggy zip jacket. Next, he undid the red and blue luggage marker. Working swiftly, he rolled back his jacket sleeves, wedging each marker up into the elasticized wristbands. taking care to roll his sleeves slightly downward to disguise them. 2 felt-tip pens, one green, the other black, went with the ballpoint into the back jean pocket, together with his signed adhesive stickers. Thomas P. Kane was ready. Things were certainly heating up for a dull post-Christmas Tuesday. Mr. Boussin noticed the youth who tacked on to the back of the group he was conducting into the Egyptian exhibition. Their eyes met briefly. Each looked away with a secret smile. The attendant coughed importantly and began his commentary. Many reliable experts say that life begins in the East, and certainly there is ample documented evidence that for thousands of years before the birth of Christ, a large civilization flourished in Egypt, land of the kings. The voice droned on as people consulted their pamphlets at the appropriate points. Thomas sized up the passage leading to the burial chamber, his fertile mind racing ahead. There was an unprotected terracotta vase. The black felt tip would do for that. And what about the sticker for the center of the glass case top, where it would be flanked by 4 sacred scarabs? Thomas stood at the back of the group, close to the raised images on the wall of the reproduction figures, fashioned in resin, forming the entrance to the burial chamber. He worked swiftly with the black felt tip as the attendant's drone washed over the attentive party. Ra, giver of life, the sun god, Horus, the hawk-headed figure, set the cat, a popular creature in Egyptian religion and mythology. All of these had their parts to play in the temples of Karnak. Okay, guys, so I didn't read as long as I wanted to today. I usually try and do, if you've ever seen a read with me video, try and do about a half hour. But I'm having some eye troubles lately. Which, if you guys would like to know more about that and my eye health and my eyes and everything, I can do a whole video on that. So we're going to stop there for now. There's 11 more pages. So hopefully I'll finish this tomorrow. We will finish the rest of this riveting story of the fate of Thomas P. Kane tomorrow. The last 11 pages. This will be a 2-part video. And if you guys like this style of video, I can do more of these. There's other, like I said, there's 7 stories in here that we can do. I also have other Halloween books downstairs if I find them. Like I said, I am going to start doing actual videos again once I figure out the situation with Daddy's computer and everything. Now that I have a camera. But anyways, I'm going to go because my eyes are really hurting me. The baby is going to need to eat soon. I got to clean up cat puke. And I'm getting kind of hungry. So I will catch you tomorrow. Stay tuned for part 2 of Thomas P. Kane. Right? That's what it's called? Sorry, my brain. The Fate of Thomas P. Kane. If you guys want to pick up a copy of this book for yourself, this is 7 Strange and Ghostly Tales by Brian Juckies. Let's see. Let me tell you guys real quick if I can find a copyright for this. The copyright for this is 1991, so this is an older book. This book is actually older than me, because I was born in 93. This is almost as old as Daddy. This is 31 years old. But, bye for now, guys.